Now his name starts with a J, and it's not Jesus. Okay, it's not Jesus, but his name starts with a J. It's known as the General, His Highness and His Flyest Producer Extraordinaire. I mean, what else haven't they called him? What else haven't they called him? I'm talking about no other but Jesse Jags himself.
Also known as Garba. Garba
Okay.
Baga. Yeah.
Okay,
that's what I want to be known as now. Yeah, Garba Baga.
Just Garba.
Yeah, back to my real name. Yeah.
Come on, what about the whole...
No, I'm too... we're done with that. When I was 25, I could have been jumping Jesse Jags. Now we need to make...
You're still jumping.
No.
You're
I'm still jumping, but we need to make like serious, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, now I'm a man.
It's nice to have you on the show.
Nice to be here.
Okay. I want us to kick off with your music. Jesse Jags left the scene at some point, and he came back a different man. What happened?
Well, I guess it's the whole music thing. I needed to take out time after performing. I did the first album, Jack of All Trades, 2010, I think. Okay. So after I was done with that, you know how Nigeria is. You can be in the scene, you can be in the industry for 8 years, but you have 5 singles, no album. So I wanted to actually, create something for myself. How it's done, at the standard. Forget that this Nigeria.
Okay.
Music is different from Nigeria. There's nothing like Nigerian music. You know what I mean? There's just music in the world. You know what I mean? So it was for me to take out time to start something for myself. You know what I mean? For my own self as an adult. Yeah.
And that something for yourself is.
Yeah, I mean, I called it Jags Nation, but it was just me being me. Being in charge of, being able to sponsor what I can for myself by myself. Okay. Being able to hold myself accountable for the sort of music I make, the sort of man I want to be. So all those things, in the whole business world might not be generally acceptable. Okay. You know what I mean? But business itself comes from what we do. A carpenter, that's where his business comes from. Okay. My business comes from my music. So it was me saying, if I go back to my music and own that 100%, then I own my business.
Okay, 100%. So it was about you owning it 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, now you're in the middle of something. You were with Chalk City previously. I just have to touch on that.
Yeah.
Now we've had a good number of artists leave labels, and they had problems. Yeah. At some point, J1 left Kenny's music, and he said he's back in Kenny's music, and again, a whole lot. Yeah. And some of them just had a way of pulling them back at some point or the other. And with Chalk City, we have this case of Brymo, and the case has just extended for so long. You never had such, but I'd like to know your take about these things.
At the end of the day, people must understand. You must, when you want to make a move, you must know why you're making the move. I had signed with Chocolate City for 3 years, but I had served for 6 years. So it's the case of a Jacob, you know what I mean? A Jacob and this thing, So it was of the point that my contract had superseded paper and pen. It was service. So I'm saying, at the end of the day, I think everybody needed to. It's not just artists are very emotional, but sometimes I think you need to be smarter. You need to understand that you might have done stuff by mistake, so you need to cover up. You know what I mean? You need to be smart. You need to give yourself time too. So I think that was just a difference.
Okay, now then you dropped your first album.
Yep.
It took a long while. Years, you said 2010.
2010.
You dropped the next album, that was 2013.
3 years actually.
Then within 8 months.
Yeah.
Or is it less?
It was 6 months actually.
6 months. Within 6 months, you dropped a third project. Now, a whole lot about that project. But then, why so soon?
Well, I guess after taking out so much time, I realized music is my work. If a doctor is at work right now, having surgery, tomorrow he's at work. We are meant to make music. We shouldn't be feeding Nigerians 2 singles every year. We should be giving them 3 projects a year. That's what we do. That's while we're not at interviews or at shows, we should be making music. That's our work. So, for me, it was just going back there because, at the end of the day, in Africa, we like to celebrate a lot. Okay. But at the end of the day, I don't think we have anything. There's no royalty system. There's no, artists don't have anything to fall back to at the end of the day. Okay. So I know it's out of the need to say, what, if you create that music that will break you into that international community. Okay. Yeah, it will happen.
It will happen, and that's what you do.
Yeah.
That means you don't believe in the general thing that the white man does better music than we do.
I think this is my message right now. Okay. Nigerians and Africans need to stop. We need to stop looking at ourselves as, we're Nigerians. Everything we do is, we're competing with Chinese people. We're competing with Asians. We're competing with Italians in fashion. It's not a Nigerian thing. Fashion is a universal thing.
Okay.
Music is a universal thing. Whether it's Afrobeat you're doing, Fela, the founder of Afrobeat, he was in the world of jazz, he was a renowned jazzist as a saxophonist. I'm saying outside of that, he was a musician first. He was a human being first, then a musician before you can say he's Nigerian. Anywhere he went in the world would have been respected without the Nigerian thing coming in first. And that's what I'm about.
Okay, now you go with this. There's this thing about Jesse Jags now. Jesse Jags is not seen as the commercial guy. Is it that Jesse Jags doesn't want to make money?
This is what I'm saying.
Looking at that, then you dropped the Royal Niger Company, and it was free.
Yeah, honestly, to reiterate people's mentalities, there's no way I could have done a second album if I wasn't making money. I am the commercial artist in Nigeria right now. I am the person.
How would you define your commercial?
And
music?
what I really buy is that have you ever done graphics before? Do you have a graphics designer?
Yes, I do.
When we enter videos, tomorrow I can put a Bentley behind me, I could put a private jet.
Yes.
But I live in a third world country. That's a lie. There's media and there's what really is going on the streets. There's what really you own, really the work you've put in. And I'm saying at the end of the day, how many of us who are Nigerian musicians now came from rich homes or really own anything right now? How many of us are getting royalties? How many of us own our albums or own our materials? Nothing. We're poor. We own,
no.
Yeah,
you're saying artists are poor.
I'm saying when you talk of the word poor, I think the poverty of the mind is what creates poverty of the body.
You mean enigmatic here? Okay, this
I mean, like, no, I'm being serious. Now I'm saying at the end of the day, our external poverty is as a result of our internal poverty. The cars, the money, the food, the women, you're gonna die and they're gonna be here. Period. What remains is the essence. Is the things you do that nobody can touch or take away from you. Not the cars or the flash or the chains. Yeah, like those things are gonna be. Those things have always been here.
They've always been here, and you live them. Okay, now let's talk about the latest album you have, the Royal Niger Company.
Yep.
The title. Royal Niger.
Again, I don't want to overflow. Out of the blue. But again, it's just to sensitize Nigerians to remember we don't have a future if we don't know our past.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't have a future if you don't know where you're coming from, and we don't pay attention to it, and that's why, I named the album that, so that when people go, they can go online, and check what Royal Niger Company is about.
And do you think we have good information about the Royal Niger Company?
I think
I listened to the album.
Yeah.
I was looking for the Royal Niger.
And this is what I wanted to do, which is Nigerians are very sentimental.
Okay.
The second Royal Niger Company is not very reggae.
Okay.
Because I don't want people to say, Jesse Jags now Rastafari.
Okay, Jesse. From Jesse.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll talk about that.
I just make music.
Let's go on this break.
Yeah.
Let's go on this break. We'll talk about you being a Rastafarian. You have dreads on. We'll talk about that. I'll be back with Jesse Jags. We'll be wrapping up the show. Yes, I'll be talking to him. Then we'll wrap up the show. Let's go.
She can listen, she can never sing. She can listen, she can never sing.
It's Jesse Jags Nation, baby.
Hurled from the sky like a discus. A god is fallen from Olympus, dethroned from high, thrown from the sky. Why? He should live alone till he die. He forged him a sign, endorsing his crime, sovereign rhyme, enforcing the laws of the lords of the shine. Born with the spine, formed from the remnants of Optimus Prime. In the dark.
Okay, welcome back. And that was from God on the Mic by Jesse Jags. I'm still with Jesse Jags, and we're talking about your latest project.
Yeah.
So you decided to make it free.
Yeah, it was free. Free.
So how do you get to recoup? Since you were talking about royalties and a whole lot of other stuff.
People, I think musicians need to understand there is no promo you have outside of your music. Your music is your promo, your music is your content, which is why at the end of the day, there's nothing externally anybody can give me to repay me for making that album, apart from what I've gotten from making it myself.
Wow.
That's already throwing your worth to the public. Like, indeed. I'm done. I've moved on. I'm on my next project right now.
Wow.
Catch up. You know what I mean? Like, the satisfaction I should have gotten on it, the material, prosperity, everything, is finished the moment before the project even came out. The moment we're done in the studio.
You got the satisfaction for making the music.
We're done. Like, I decided to make it. Nigerians didn't tell me. Like, people need to understand that it's not anything anybody can give me that can make me happier or more content than making that for them.
Okay, now we touched on the Rastafarianism.
Yeah, before we went on.
Now, what's happening to Jesse? Because Jesse was different. Then all of a sudden we have the dreads the message.
Yeah, I mean,
in his music, as it were. So what's happening to Jesse?
But also, I think what's happening to me has happened every stage of my life. When I was 7, I had to be 10. Then I had to change. My friends who were 7 could no longer hang out with me. I had to get 10-year-old friends. When I was 15, you know what I mean? Like, life is always in stages, and I think sometimes adults forget that. We need to keep dreaming. We need to keep moving on. We need to keep reinventing ourselves. You know, evolution is a process.
So what stage are you in right now?
I'm in my 30s. I'm 30 this year. I'm going to be 30 this year, finally. So I'm in my 30s years. There's stuff that I have to let go of. There's stuff that when I was 22 was okay to do. Now I'm 30. You know what I mean? I have a 10-year-old daughter.
Wow.
Yeah, like I'm Nigerian. I live in a third world country. So I mean,
so can you just let us in on that world? Like, what's the movement like right now? Are you going into Rastafarianism?
I mean,
or is it the 5%?
The movement for me is that in the first place, when I say Rasta, I don't want people to confuse what my personal life is with what my music is. Which is we don't judge other people for being Christians or for being Muslims or traditional worshippers. What a person's personal life is has nothing to do with how hard they work at their work. So I think people should separate. Again, if you have read about Rastafarianism, it is the same message with any other religion. Same thing anybody else is saying, which is love. We should stop arguing about who the messenger is, but what the message is.
Okay, so just it's not been straightforward.
I'm being very straightforward. I'm saying whatever I'm preaching is the same thing Jesus of Christianity preached. It's the same thing Muhammad said. It is love we're talking about. We're humans. Angels are not going to come and love us. So that's what I'm saying. Like, we should stop arguing about, are you Rasta or Christian? What is the message? What are you saying?
Jason wants us to follow his message, and I think that's what we'll do. That's what we'll do. I just hope you don't surprise us in the next 2 months with another album.
It can't be 2 months. I work too hard for it to be 2 months.
Okay. Thank you for being on the program, Jesse Jags. Is there any pattern shot?
You said?
Any pattern shot? Anything you want to say? Before we round up with you. Or you're good?
Nothing, I'm good.
Okay, thank you so much, Jesse Jags, for being on the program once again. Okay, and it's been a lovely time here in the studio. I mean, starting from Tusho down to Hands That Care, and finally Jesse Jaga Abaga, also known as Gaba. And it's been lovely, and I'm Ludo Fadoju. Catch you same time, same station next week.